Ugh, look at this! It's horrible! Ugh, get it out of my sight! Ah, that's better. It's beautiful. Greetings and salutations, my beautiful people, and welcome to the Caddicarus show, where I always have to do the dirty deed of deciding whether or not a game deserves to be slaughtered or salvaged. Bloodborne. Bloodborne? Don't make me laugh. More like blood mourn. Because you have to mourn over how bad the game is. Okay, yes, I was joking if you couldn't tell. Bloodborne is slowly turning into one of my favourite games ever made the more I play through it. I'm in love with it. And, you know, I'm still nowhere near close to beating it, so I won't be reviewing it just yet. You know, it's a busy game, and I'm a big guy. Wait a sec. So I'll review this whenever I can. But in the meantime, to honour that awesome game that I threw over there in complete disgust, I figured that we could spend today digging into one of my favourite PS1 games ever made, and it's a game that immediately sprung to my mind when I saw the E3 trailer for Bloodborne all of those many months ago. Yes, today, my beautiful people, we'll be having a look at
Nightmare Creatures,
a game released on September 30th, 1997 for the PlayStation, and after looking at the review scores at the time, it turns out that this version was the best. The N64 version had no FMV, meaning practically no story, and the PC version, well, don't ask me. The game was also developed by Callisto Entertainment, who are famous for, oh dear. This is a horror-themed game where you run around and slaughter monsters in a ye old London setting. Sound familiar? That's because it is. Okay, in all fairness, Nightmare Creatures is a very different game from Bloodborne. I wouldn't say it was better at all, good lord, but it's different. And much, much older. For starters, it's actually set in non-fictional places all around London, which is fucking awesome. And this game is actually a much simpler 3D beat-em-up. There's nothing more satisfying in this game than cornering a monster and kicking the everlasting poo out of it until it slumps to the floor in crippling defeat. And the sound effects make it that much better. As far as the story goes, well, let's sit down together and watch the intro, shall we?
He works alone, his hands defiling the bodies of the dead in his thirst for knowledge and power. His name is Adam Crowley, a man who was once respected in the field of science until fate led him along another path towards black magic. Now he is in possession of the mythical Lost Diary of Samuel Pepys, a volume that contains the detestable rituals of the demon-worshipping Brotherhood of Hecate. Soon, he will complete his work. Tonight, as the sun sets on London one last time, he will unleash his demonic brood onto the streets. And should no one stop him, this city will be consumed by a horde of nightmare creatures.
Okay guys, you know how much I get creeped out by PlayStation FMV? Well, I have to admit, I am creeped out by this, yes, but not actually because it looks out of place and badly done. This is legitimately really well done FMV as far as I'm concerned, for PS1 standards anyway. It makes the villain, Adam Crowley, look suitably creepy, and all of the monsters deformed, decrepit, and it just looks gross. It just looks jagged and gross, and it works so well from the PS1 FMV standpoint. And if anything in this looks unsettling and fucked up, I think it actually works to this game's advantage. Not like fucking Heihachi. What happened there? It scared the shit out of me when I was younger, and I actually feel uneasy watching it nowadays. Just look at it. And that voiceover, yes, it's cheesy, but Christ, it's like Richard Burton in War of the Worlds. The love that's gone behind creating a dread-filled atmosphere in this game just from that intro alone is worth the price of admission as far as I'm concerned. In fact, the way that this game uses system limitations to its advantage is actually quite impressive, not only from the FMV standpoint, but even in the game itself. All of the little things, like the draw distance for instance, yeah, it isn't great technically, but for this game it works fantastically well to create a foreboding atmosphere. What's ahead? What's hiding in the dark? Well, you need to go and find out. It's very much like Silent Hill in that regard. But enough with that, is the game itself any good? Well, we can answer that question right after some ghastly noises. I don't want to play this game anymore. Talk about a freaky menu. The music, if you can call it that, is just these cadaverous noises while you sit there wondering what lies beyond the blackness and not wanting to find out, actually. The real question is, though, do I want a sword or a stick? Sword, stick, sword, stick. Stick, obviously. We begin the game and there's an enemy right there already. Yep, I see how it is, game. Okay, fuck you. Let me get my bearings, you piece of shit. Well, that fixed it. And I found a secret area first thing. Fantastic. I'm the best. Oh god, I know there's a jump scare here. I know there is, but I never know when it happens. Oh god, help me. Come on. Come on. Come on. No! Okay, I'm a little bit rusty, actually. Yeah, can you just, like, stop being such a wisdom tooth? Oh god, okay, you know what? Fuck this, I'm shooting you in the face. The point of this game is that you run from the beginning to the end of each stage, taking out monsters hiding from behind corners, jumping out at you from behind boxes and doors, fighting bosses, and that's it really. You get given new combos as you go on that you can mix between your melee weapon, jumps, and kicks. You find awesome upgrades for your weapon as you go on to make some monsters a little bit easier, and you find some awesome power-ups throughout the game, including snowflakes to freeze enemies and shatter them, dynamite to deal massive damage and take away limbs from enemies, razor blades to turn all of your attacks into the equivalent of a chainsaw, and much more, even including powers that allow enemies to attack each other or leave you alone entirely. If you couldn't tell already, this is a violent game, and it's so badass, doing the work of Dead Space over 10 years before it happened. You can basically take the limbs off of any enemies with well-placed attacks, and some enemies like zombies are best dealt with one particular strong attack to cut them straight in half. Oh yes! Every enemy has weak spots and vulnerabilities to certain power-ups. They leave themselves open to attack, use their own special combos, shield themselves from you, have some devastating attacks that can remove a lot of health if you're not careful. They're all pretty tough cookies, and the combat itself is solid for a late 90s 3D game. It takes a little while to get used to the now dated notion of not locking onto enemies manually and dodging with different buttons, but once you figure out how to take out each specific monster, it's a blast and can be pretty tricky. The moving controls themselves may be a little bit stiff by today's standards, and the platforming even stiffer, but that is not the point of this game at all. There's no focus to it, it's all about the fighting. And what's cool about it is that the combos actually work by you inputting the buttons as fast as you want to, and then the combo will actually just happen in front of you. There's no real timing to it, you just input the combo as fast as you can and watch the carnage unfold right in front of you. And luckily, the enemies can't break your combos and attack you, so don't worry about being stuck in a combo unable to dodge. Hey, zombie, taste the power of my stick. You know something? I like this stick. And not only do I like this stick, but I like this guy's name, Ignatius Blackward. Oh, yeah! I'm so sorry. Every single time I say his name, I have to clean up some stuff. Is that the coolest name in gaming history? Well, I'd say so. And overall, what we can gather from all of that is that I love Ignatius's stick. Yes, I should probably change the script, maybe. It's also worth mentioning that you do get extra enemies as the game progresses, obviously, but you do encounter a lot of the same enemies until the very end of the game. So to help with the repetition, the same enemies you meet later on get stronger and deadlier with new attacks as you go on. And of course, the enemies can literally appear from fucking nowhere and make you jump slightly out of your skin. But if you're pro, like me, you know where all the major ambushes are and act on them like this. And many people have asked me in the past, well, you don't earn experience points and item drops aren't too frequent, so what's the point of actually fighting anything? Well, here's the thing. Some doors won't open unless you kill an enemy, some switches are guarded by enemies in claustrophobic locations, and the game itself has an adrenaline meter on the left-hand side. If you don't kill enemies, the meter depletes, and when the meter fully depletes, you lose your health. Sadistic. But it fully refills after every enemy killed, so that's not too bad. But what is pretty bad is that in the later stages, this thing goes down fast. It can get pretty tricky for sure. But like I said, if you've played this as much as I have, you can pass through the more difficult ending stages in less than 2 minutes. Yeah, like a boss. The penultimate stage though, Christ almighty, it's difficult. Look at all the shit the game expects you to deal with. Fire, countless strong enemies, small rooms, maze-like structure, traps that send you backwards in the stage. It has it all. It's hell. Seriously, the only way that you can comfortably get through this game is by powering up. And what better way to power up hardcore than with some fried Doritos and Mountain Dew, yeah! Am I the only one that thinks this stuff kind of tastes not that good at all? Okay, level 2 is here. This is kind of horrible. I'm feeling a little uncomfortable. I don't know what's gonna happen.
My god, it's a demon!
Jesus, who designed the monsters in this game? They all look fucking great. Look at these things. The sheer appearance of these things alone in this game makes them jumping out at you and the unpredictability of their attacks that much more startling, and alongside the music and visuals overall, it can make the game slightly tense and scary in some points, even if it is still a beat 'em up in essence. It is worth mentioning though that when I was younger, I actually gave these guys here my own personal name. Scarecrow in the Pants. Why? Don't ask me, I was a weird kid. I see the pants, but the serious lack of a scarecrow.
From the bottom of my boots I do your eminence, Your Honor, sir.
There's also an exploration element to the game. Even though the stages can be linear sometimes, you have to explore to find switches for doors and sometimes secret areas with ultra powerful items, extra health, and all sorts. However, you still need to stay on your toes because this game likes to throw dead ends at you sometimes, and there'll be dead ends with ambushes at the end of them, so yeah, watch out for that. You're a mean one. Mr. Spider. It's so satisfying though, like unbelievably satisfying, especially with these blue buggers. You can kill them like any other enemies, but the difference with these guys is that if you've cornered them into a wall, you can actually keep wailing on them after they've died and stopped making noises. The game is called Nightmare Creatures, and yes, I'll give it that. This game's creature designs I can imagine being in someone's nightmares, but the way that these guys like to fuck around with the scenery and simply wreck shit up makes me think that the game was actually named after the developers' kids. Yeah, jumping around and breaking shit, they're the proper nightmare creatures. I mean, why would London care so much about these things? They're only attacking me, not destroying any major buildings, and quite honestly, they're cleaning up a lot of these hideous boxes. Not to mention, there's no crime going on around here, no Jack the Rippers murdering prostitutes. If anything, these lovely figures are a valuable asset to the community and are effectively cleaning up the streets of London. I just wish they weren't so fucking ugly. And jumped out at me and shit. The music in this game, though, is great. Well, unfortunately, a few stages reuse the same songs, which is a little bit disappointing, but the soundtrack is still long, and as a whole, it ticks all the boxes for beat-em-ups and horror games. For the main stages, it's slow, daunting, and very minimalistic to catch you off guard during the gameplay itself. Then, when the boss battles appear, the soundtrack goes insane. Just listen to the difference here, and they're both equally excellent. I also love the way this game looks. It looks great for the time, and I still think it holds up today from the atmosphere alone. It may not look as crisp as the N64 counterpart, but the pixely look I think works to the jagged and rotting aesthetic the game has. If it looked any cleaner and more rounded off, I don't think it would be anywhere near as creepy. And of course, it's all done in
The old Gothic horror.
which is always a plus in my books. I love the detail, and I just love how dark and realistically gothic it looks overall. It could have looked really silly, but it doesn't. It's gritty, misty, dirty, dark, mysterious, and I love it. You know what else I love? The big gun power-up. You more or less slaughter everything around you, and it's just so much fun to use. Now I have a machine gun. Ha. 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 One thing I also always loved in this game was the fact that the plot revolved around you catching the evil scientist Adam Crowley. Look at him, what a slimy git. But what's really unsettling is that you're always one step behind him. Quite literally. You'll be going along and he'll always be there, in the distance, watching you, or planning a trap. It's fucking scary actually, like the G-Man in Half-Life 2. And then you'll see him run off into the background and you'll always just miss him. It helps to keep you playing and see when you'll be able to catch him, especially after such a huge build-up in the start of the game. And of course, the desire you get to kick his ass is very prominent when you get a game over for the first time.
Mother!
Ah, Here we go, one of the many platforming challenges in the game. And when I say many, I mean about 3 or 4. Christ, right now this is only level 2 and I'm already wondering what the fuck is gonna happen next. What new enemies will pop out, how they'll pop out. I just don't know anymore.
Did you see it? Did you see it? I saw something. Was that Adam Crowley? Is that Adam? Was it him? Did he run off? Was he a sneaky fucker? I gotta go catch him.
If there is one thing I can slightly complain about though, it's the camera. Being able to not manually control the camera is kind of annoying sometimes, especially in the small rooms where it likes to get stuck. But luckily it isn't completely broken. The camera auto follows behind you very well, and when the combat is engaged, it actually locks onto the enemies for you pretty well as well. If there is one thing I can really shit on though, it's the boss battles. There are 4 in the whole game, and apart from the final boss, they all suck. The sewer snake is really cool, and the first form is pretty tricky, but then the second form is just you guarding, waiting, and hitting. Over and over again. And then he dies. The snowman is an outright dick because he never lets you move to grab dynamite, and then he never lets you throw the dynamite because it takes you too long to throw the dynamite and he's too quick to throw his fucking snowballs. And there are all these ball bag icicles falling from the ceiling. Also, he's called the snowman. That's a little bit of a problem. That's not scary at all.
We're walking in the air.
This fucker, on the other hand, is beaten by literally just hitting these 2 switches 3 times each, and that is it. But the final boss, Mutant Adam Crowley, I mean, it's worth the build-up at least, and I think more of the bosses should have been like this, but god, he's a tricky, dicky, fucky ducky. Maybe I should have used the sword and not the goddamn stick, but hey, you know what I say, the stick is mightier than the sword. Although that rule doesn't apply with this pillock. Overall, this game is badass, and despite all of its flaws, it'll always have a very special place in my heart with all of the things it does so well. And you know what as well? It's great to compare this game to other games with similar themes like Bloodborne and just see how far we've come in gaming from like way back when with this game. And so in conclusion, this game does get the salvage. You know what? I don't want to send it off to the heavens. I just want to keep it here. I love you, nightmare creatures. Please leave me alone. Hello everybody, and thanks so much for watching my Nightmare Creatures stupid video. If you liked it, then please show that you did by liking or commenting or subscribing to my channel, because the more you interact with my videos, the more they pop up in your feeds, because people are always asking me where my videos are, and it's because, well, if you don't interact with them, they don't appear in your subscription. So yeah, very important to do that. And also, if you look in the description, you'll find that I've been partnered with a company called AppMan, and AppMan are pretty damn cool. All you do is using this app that's in the description below, you download it, and then you get loads of free apps, or you complete challenges with pre-existing apps you've downloaded, and that earns you credits, and the more credits you earn, you can then exchange them for vouchers online. So Amazon, PayPal, and PlayStation, Xbox, it's all there. Steam as well, it's all there. So it's a really cool service. There's a limited time offer going on right now, which is an extra $5 on your first $5 reward. So please go in the description to check that out. And you'll also find my Games Grabber collection down there, where I update what games I've got, what I'm playing, what I'm reviewing, and what's on my shelves, what I'm playing basically, so you can see my entire collection down there as well. And if it's your birthday today watching this video, happy freaking birthday to you, and please remember to stay beautiful.